before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you click on the bell notification so that you get notified of all of our upcoming videos.
All right, so I'm here with, well, first of all, let's, welcome to Real Estate Life 360. And I want to welcome Renarda Joy. And she is a new wholesaler that just started this year. And I wanted to bring on board to kind of give her, get her background information and see what she's doing and what deals that she's done. And so, Renarda, why don't you give us a little bit about your background and I guess, how you came about into the real estate space. Take it away.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me on your webinar today. It's definitely something to say I've accomplished to be able to get on your webinar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I will say, like you said, my name is Renarda Joy. I go by RJ in the real estate industry, by the way. I think I sent that over. But I've been doing real estate for over 20 years in a few different capacities, from being a property manager, being a real estate agent, to just being an investor as well. My mom and my grandfather, they started off in real estate, or at some point they were in real estate. So I've always been kind of around it. But out of my mom's 3 siblings, I was the one that kind of took the real estate bug and ran with it later in life. I guess a quick story, I was in college. I got my degree from Simmons College in marketing, and I was interning at a law firm. And at the time, she was practicing probate and family law. And this guy came in and he was like, hey, I have a piece of property in Bahamas that I really want to close. And she's like, I don't know anything about real estate transaction. And I was like, hey, let's just try. I'm just the intern, but we had a good relationship. I was like, let's just try, Miss David. And she's like, yeah, we'll just try it. And she ended up going to Bahamas to close the transaction. And I worked really close with her with all of the contracts and the due diligence. And I was like, you know what? If this is what my mom and grandfather ran in, and this is real estate, count me in. And so that's really what kind of catapulted me to be strongly interested in real estate. And at that point, I didn't know which avenue I was going to pursue, but I found my way. And I just ended up being a real estate paralegal. So I work with a lot of transactions, closing constantly. And I became an investor, and I built my portfolio. Gotcha.
So you actually own rental properties, is that right?
Yeah, in Northeast, I don't have them now. I ended up dissolving them and getting rid of them. But at the time, my portfolio was predominantly in Rhode Island and in Boston and in Miami Beach. Not Miami Beach, West Palm Beach, sorry.
Okay. So long story, I guess, you have this long, background in real estate, and what brought you to do wholesaling? I guess, you've told me the story before, but I guess I want the audience to know what, your story as to what transpired and what brought you to me and to this, this wholesaling.
Well, I was kind of doing another business that I was pursuing, and it was going kind of slow. And at the time, my son was graduating from high school, and he was going to college. So I felt like I needed to have something that was going to give me a stable paycheck, so to speak, as opposed to working for myself. And I worked that job as a property manager, as a director of property manager for 3 years. And at the end of the 3 years, the company at the time was going to relocate. And when they were going to relocate, they were going to they wanted me to become part-time, and that wasn't going to work for me. Plus, I needed to have some more traveling involved. And a couple of months to them announcing the relocation, my boyfriend and my family was like, you should do your own thing. And I didn't want to take that leap of faith. I'm like, no, I got a steady paycheck. I'm going to, stay here for a little while. I got comfortable. So it took them planting that seed, and fast forward 3 or 4 months of the job relocating to say, let me try something else. And maybe like 2 months prior to the relocation announcement, my boyfriend sent me some videos to watch, and it was all about wholesaling. And I'm like, I was in real estate as an investor, but I never did it from a wholesaling perspective. I know I left a lot of money on the table that I could have actually captured at that point, but I didn't understand it. And so I began, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, so you actually like were in the investing space, but you didn't know about, did you not know about wholesaling? Or
no, I did not know about it.
Gotcha, okay.
No idea.
Right.
You know, and looking back, I could have had my deals pretty much pay a lot of my down payments for the properties that we ended up acquiring.
It's funny because I've been investing in out of state, and I've for the probably majority of the time that I've been in real estate, it's probably just recently. I wouldn't say recently, maybe half of the time during that period, I didn't know about wholesaling myself, until I was introduced to it. But go ahead.
Right. So December of last year, 2018, I decided to fire my boss and become my own boss. Okay. And so January, I started this journey of wholesaling. I just immersed myself with all videos. I became like a YouTube Academy student. I just watched so many videos, like hours on end.
Gotcha.
And some of the videos recommend that you go to various meetup groups. So I found a meetup group to attend, and that's when I met somebody from your office, the lovely Becky. Okay. And she told me about you, and we got connected, and shortly after you started Real Estate 360.
Gotcha. Right. So let's talk about, I guess, when I mean, I don't remember exactly when you started with our membership, and maybe you remember, but I apologize. I don't remember, but I guess, when did you have any like I won't say misconceptions, but did you know from watching all the YouTube videos what and I guess ultimately was it information overload, or did you have a plan of attack, or just give me a little bit of
it was a little of everything. It was me wanting the information, so I pretty much overloaded myself. Right. And then once I got the information, being able to break it down, to process it for me to be able to understand it. And, you can only watch the videos and record, but if you're still missing a piece, it's still not going to always gel. So I felt like there was pieces that maybe I was missing, or, some of the videos that I watched, they offered a lot of upsell for you to get probably the missing pieces. And at the time, I didn't have the extra income to spend towards some of the classes and courses that they offered, because it was like thousands and thousands of dollars. And even if I wanted to get someone to invest in that, I felt like that was a great risk that I was taking. So,
right. And even if you like, I know I've spent thousands on coaching, and I think reflecting back, like if you don't know how to be coached or what you need to ask, I think you're essentially wasting your money.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless that person, that coach, I think it's a very difficult, and not difficult, but I'm just saying that from a person that's been through coaching, I don't think you're ready to be coached per se, like one-on-one, until you're at unless you have certain foundations in place.
Definitely. And that's what, I had enough background to understand the verbiage, because I was in the real estate room. So I understood, and that actually was my advantage to connecting some of the dots. But I felt like some of the, I won't say advanced, but the integral parts of intertwining all of the material together was missing.
Right.
And so I came across your platform, and what I liked about just the initial viewing before I committed to it was you were approachable. Like, you weren't just doing webinars where we couldn't talk to you or ask different questions to really get a better grasp as to what we were doing, and the accountability. Those were the things that I was looking for that you offered.
Yeah, I think the main thing about I think at the end of the day, for those that are watching this, is that nobody is gonna push you to do something. I mean, we like, whether you're being coached by somebody or whether you have, somebody else, you work, doing something together. Nobody can push you to do the things that you need to do, and that's on you, right? So going back, let's talk about your 2 deals that you've accomplished. So what did you do to get those 2 deals?
Well, I initially started driving for dollars. That was one of the marketing avenues that was suggested in the different videos that I was watching. And I just picked a niche, a particular hot area that I thought was hot and was close to home. And it was fun. It was like I made it my 9 to 5. I would just drive around in different areas. And if I saw a dilapidated or a distressed home, I would just, see if I could gather information on trying to reach that owner. Or even initially I couldn't knock on the neighbors' doors because I was a little shy. But after I got over that, I was able to get out of my car and talk to everybody that was around.
Were you shy or were you scared?
I was probably a little of both.
Right.
But I got over that maybe my first 2 weeks, to be honest. It took me at least 2 weeks to work up the nerve to get out of the car.
Gotcha.
So that's what I started doing, driving for dollars. And I have family in Boston, and friends. So I had a friend I put the word out there to everybody that I was doing this. So that's one of the things that I recommend anybody who's starting to do this, no matter what market you're in. And one of my friends was driving by a house in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is near UMass Lowell campus. And they saw a home that was the criteria that I was looking for. And I reached out to the owner and they said, yes, we're willing to sell. And I did the due diligence to figure out what was the ARV and, what should I offer? And what was the condition of the house? Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go to Boston. And I asked the seller if they could send me pictures so I can see. So my first deal was remotely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what did you use to, you said you got in touch with the homeowners. How were you able to do that?
Well, from watching some of the videos, one of the videos that I trusted suggested a program called PropStream. And that allowed me to get the person's information as far as their contact information, if it was available. And I also learned more information about the house as far as like the taxes, the square footage, all of the county, the school district, all of those important things that a new buyer would be interested in knowing.
Okay, nice. And you still have access to that platform, PropStream?
Yes, I absolutely love it.
Okay, nice. So then you went about, and then you got it on the contract, I assume. Did you send the contract over email?
Yes, I emailed him a copy of the contract.
Okay, and then did you
contract that someone online had shared with me? I didn't even know if the contract would work because it was one page. And as being an investor in the past, I've never received a one-page contract. It's always been multiple pages. So I'm on the other end, like, how, is this going to look credible? But it worked.
All right. So then how did you get it executed? Did you use DocuSign or something? Or
I used DocuSign, yes.
Okay, nice. Okay. And so you got it executed and then you, I guess, sent it over to a title company or an attorney?
While I was talking with the seller, I already started looking for a title company in the area just to kind of establish a relationship with. So by the time it was signed, I already had a company.
Nice. Great. And then you, I assume that you found the buyer there afterwards.
I did. I found the buyer probably within the first 2 weeks.
Nice.
I put the ad on Craigslist, by the way. That's where I marketed the property. And I got quite a few responses because it was near the University of Mass. People saw that it was a great place for students to kind of have an off-campus apartment. So I got a lot of great responses from it. And until today, I still got some buyers out of it as well.
So during this whole process, were you nervous, scared?
I was nervous. I was like, I only got the contract for 30 days. I'm like, how am I going to find a buyer? Because I told the seller that either myself or a colleague would be buying this. I never let on that I was going to be assigning the contract, although if he had read the contract, it said that either myself or I would be assigning it. So it was definitely in black and white that it would be potentially assigned, but we never had a conversation about it.
Gotcha. Okay. So then,
so then this guy reached out to me. He's like, "Is it still available?" And at that time, every email was an excitement. Like, wow, oh my gosh, somebody is interested in this property. It was just like I was just so addicted to just the emails coming in.
Right. And then on the day of closing, I guess you didn't actually go to the closing because you're so far away, but I guess thereafter you got the check, or
I got it wired. It was wired.
Nice. And so how was that? How did that feel?
I was like, oh my gosh, this works. I couldn't wait to like share it with my family. Like I kept it to myself, and that was hard because we share everything. And when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. So I was really, really happy.
So I mean, like, I guess, it's that feeling of like, does it work? And that's what a lot of people really, come into this with.
Is it a gimmick or does it really work? And,
right.
I felt like what I was seeing and knowing that it was true, but sometimes you just feel like maybe the parties, their market is different, so it's going to work for them, or, you just have all sorts of doubts that you place that you're not sure. But I had less doubts, which allowed me to stick with it to see if it was going to work for me. But I can't dispute and say that I didn't have any, because I did.
I think a lot of people, especially when you're in this Northeast area, and the market may be more competitive. I don't know, but we don't know what's going on in other areas of the states.
Sure.
And you see all these, what you see on social media, people making X amount of dollars here and there, and they're like, oh man, it must be a different market over there.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, it all works, but so what happens, in my opinion, is that a lot of people go from one, whether it's one marketing, real estate's a huge, vast area. There's so many different things that you can be doing,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a matter of being focused and just, keep plugging away. And now tell me about your second deal. I just want to make sure that we got time here.
Okay. The second deal, it was driving. Well, no, it wasn't. So after I haven't done a whole lot of driving for dollars, I ended up switching or just adding another marketing mix to what I was already doing with the driving for dollars. And I started cold calling.
Okay.
And I did that by use PropStream, where, I could pull a list, and based off of a criteria, it would populate some names and contact information. So I started cold calling, and one of the parties that I cold called, I gave him my little elevator pitch about being a local investor looking to acquire some properties in your area. Are you interested in selling at this time? Because I'm interested in buying. And he said, for the right price, I'm ready to move. I really need to get rid of this property. And I was like, that's music to my ears. And I just built a rapport with him, and I was able to get this under contract in East Orange, New Jersey.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I find very, I think motivated by you is by the number of calls, that you were making to make this work. And, approximately how many calls were you making, calls were you making per day?
200.
To me, that's like, wow,
200.
But, like a lot of people don't understand the amount of, the wholesaling, or for that matter, business in general, whether you're an agent,
Mm-hmm.
What does it take to become an agent? What is it to be the 20% of, when I say 20%, what does it take to really run a business, or run a wholesaling business, or run a real estate business, as an agent.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game at the very beginning, because you don't have experience. You don't have, you haven't dealt with enough people to kind of, like go get into their how should I say it, to understand what they want. You know what I'm saying? And that just takes experience. And when you said that, I was just like, wow, like 200, that's a lot.
But I should kind of back up. Like many years ago, I worked in a few call centers. So
Okay.
I think that that's helped to prepare me for today. You hear those stories from your parents, like you go through things and at some point it comes back to help you out. And that was one of the things. I worked in a couple of call centers where the whole day I was on the phone dealing with customers, some good, some bad, but nonetheless, it gave me the stamina to be able, and the thick skin to deal with rejection, and to be able to stay on the phone that long.
Yes. So you've built the discipline.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. That's awesome. So the second deal, you close on that. And so right now, I would say, what is your main marketing that you're doing right now? And what are you looking to add to it? Or what do you see yourself moving forward?
Well, I do believe in whatever marketing mix that you put together, you have to stick with it, because consistency and persistency is the key.
Right.
And so I haven't been able to get back to driving for dollars, but I want to get back to that because it allows me to see what's going on in the neighborhood, maybe talk to contractors, etc. But right now I've been still doing the cold calls, and I just started about a month ago direct mail. So that's a new component that I've added to the mix.
Okay, nice. Okay.
And also my website. I have a website now to try and capture, because online presence is where everything is as well. So for a while, I didn't have that component there, because that doesn't require me to actively work on it every day. Like the website will be up and I could still be out making cold calls while that is out.
Right. And I think the main, we've discussed this before in our, weekly coaching, but it's about building, you got to build one system at a time, because you can't do it all, and this is where, I am strongly proponent of, people that go to these, weekend seminars or one-day seminars. Okay, they provide the inspiration, but what's going to build your business is the everyday little things that you do to move your business forward.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen overnight.
No.
That one deal that you made $10,000 is not what's going to build your business.
No.
It's the consistency, and that's really what the main point of why I built Real Estate Life 360 is because that we want to build a community of business builders, a community of people that are taking this business and building it day by day, week by week. So on that, is there anything that you want to mention? I guess maybe top 3 tips or a word of advice to anybody that is starting to do wholesaling or in this business, or have been doing this for a while. Maybe they haven't gotten a deal and they just feel frustrated. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there, and I know, and I could attest to it because I know from just experience doing meetups for the past 10 years that there are a lot of people out there that they want to do something, but for whatever reason, and I know what it is, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
But
I would say, when you're looking at videos, because that's the first place that a lot of people go to. Like I said, that's what I did. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful with who you're watching. Try and find someone that's either close to your personality or your learning key points that you're able to grasp, because you don't want to turn yourself into somebody that you're not, and then you're stuck, know. And I find a lot of people are trying to mimic people instead of trying to figure out where they can find their place in this business. So I think that you should be very careful with who you watch and gather the information from.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And I think that you should find a small community like Real Estate 360 of a group of like-minded people who have different walks of life, bring different things to the table, but at the same time, it's like a body. Everybody has an extended part, but together we can edify and help each other grow our businesses. I think if you're in it for the long run, it's important to connect yourself with like-minded individuals.
Yeah, that's very important, I think. Yeah.
Because they help hold you accountable. That's what I like. I'm very competitive, but at the same time, it's borderline accountability. So
Yeah.
I like that component. And the third thing I would say is just be consistent and persistent. Don't give up. You have to sometimes always self-encourage yourself. You may not always get the encouragement from others. You may be around people who don't even believe in this, who were just like, it's not going to work. You know, you're watching these videos, that's for them, it's not for you. You have to believe in yourself first and be able to encourage yourself to push through, because it's going to be obstacles. Every day is not going to be a closing day. I would love it for it to be.
Right.
It's just not right now. And you take the good with the bad, but that's what it takes to build a business. You learn from the failures as opposed to seeing them as setbacks. They're actually setups for getting you ahead.
So let me ask you, before we close the session, what is the one thing that you learned this year that you think really it's like a light bulb that you know, maybe there's something, was there a light bulb that lit up this year that you think it's like an aha moment?
You know, I know this probably won't make sense, but I knew I was doing this business, but until I understood that I'm a problem solver and I'm not scamming people, when I got over that, I was able to like take this to a whole different level. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, you're right. You know why? Because a lot of people, you know, they come into this business and they kind of like, you know, they're like ninjas, you know, not ninjas, but like, you know, they're like kind of like, they feel like they're scammy or they're trying to
Exactly.
People. But I think I said this in one session with you and Jody, was that you have to be confident in that you're bringing you're bringing something to the table with these people, you know, to these homeowners, okay? Because if they want the highest price on a property, then go find an agent.
Exactly.
Then that's that's on them, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to close fast and you want to be able to get rid of your house and you know, to get rid of a problem, then I can help you.
Yeah.
And that's really, you know, that comes from inside, you know, that comes from believing in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, I think that's what you're talking about.
That was my moment where I was like, okay, I'm a problem solver. I'm a go-to person. I have people now calling me for solutions. Even if I can't solve it, I'm still a resource for them to come to, that I can refer them to others who may have the solution for them.
That's exactly it. And that's to, you know, going out there and telling people what you do. And so people a lot of people think that, oh, you're in real estate, oh, so you buy properties, and no, but it's not. This business is about relationships, is about solving people's problems that relate to real estate.
Right.
All right.
I love it.
That's awesome. As long as you enjoy waking up every morning, enjoying what you do, that's the most critical. I think that's the most important part of, you know, I think a majority of people out there, they don't enjoy waking up. They don't enjoy going into work. And so that's, you know, I think that's very special. Any last words before we end it for this session?
No, I just want to thank you again, you know, for coaching me along the way, because you've made yourself very approachable, and the material that you share it's been user friendly. You know, it's not where it's like, you know, going over my head. And I just appreciate you giving up your time to give us invaluable information.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started. I mean, this is something that I wanted to start for like probably like 10 years or so, that I've been thinking about. And, you know, because I feel like there's a lot of information out there. And I know from experience that going to these webinars and spending thousands and thousands of dollars is not it provides you that high at that moment, and
Yeah.
maybe a day or two after you come back. But I know that building a business is hard. Building a bigger business is harder. Just like what I'm going through right now these days is building a team, and that's not, you don't just, it's not something that just like happens overnight.
Right.
And so that's my vision for Real Estate Life 360, is to build a community of business builders, real estate business builders. And so I'm just encouraged, especially with Jody. And I know she's been plugging away, and she's like,
I'm happy for her.
Yeah. So we'll bring her on board maybe in the next couple of weeks. She did her first deal this past Friday, and she emailed me a check. She didn't email me the check, but she sent me a check of her, her first check, and that was exciting to hear from her, and hopefully many more in the future.
But I want to add one other thing, for those who are watching videos and getting this information, that information, the one thing you have to do is just do it. You have to be an action taker. You have to get off the fence and quit finding the reasons why. Like, you're not going to know until you try it, so, and you're only one deal away. So you got to get out there.
Yeah. And I know, let me ask you another question. I know a lot of people, actually doing it, but what fears did you have in doing it,
Just failing, that it's not going to work for me, that maybe I'm not going to say the right thing, or I'll just never come across a seller that's in need. With all the people in this world that are going through foreclosures and all the things that's going on, I'm never going to get one. That was my concern.
Okay. So for those that, interested, how do people reach out to you if they want to reach out to you? I guess. And if you don't want to share your personal information or any information, but if, you could say whatever, however people want to reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. They can go visit my website at joypropertygroup.com, and, you can call, email. I'm available as well.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for taking time, and just a little to say something about Real Estate Life 360. So Renarda is we actually renamed it from Insiders to Action Takers membership, and she is part of our membership community. It's a small group right now, but we are. I don't want to take on too many people, but because at the end of the day, I think having a small group is better, rather than taking on a lot of people, because you can't really help people and give them individual support. But we are gonna open up the membership probably toward the end of this month. I was gonna try to do it last month, but this month is probably so many things on our plate. But thank you, Renarda, for RJ. Keep up with you, RJ.
No problem. My pleasure. I look forward to doing many more with you.
All right, sounds good. All right, have a good rest of the day, and thanks.
You're welcome. You too.